me and my crew of multi-ethnic people are gonna play my Nintendo Switch instead of playing real basketball. Why not? You're a mystery so deep. Wow, did you see that brother in the back? And him acting like that extra from Wimpy Kid and Thor.
Is it the same guy?
No, it's not the same guy, but like look at him.
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh my God, it's a controller. This is witchcraft and wizardry. Oh my God. We have that amazing company that we talk about damn near every week now because they're doing good stuff. They've been winning a whole bunch of Game of the Year awards. They won Best New System of last year. Their stock prices are going through the roof. People are buying amiibos like they're goddamn Furbies. So it's like, yo, big ups to this company. And of course, we're talking about the amazing people over at Nintendo. And when we're talking about something that's doing well for them and has also sold many units, as well as a bunch of software, we were talking about the Nintendo Switch. You see they're playing Gertz's favorite game, Breath of the Wild, the new Zelda game on the Nintendo Switch, which he refuses to play for some reason. I don't know why. I'm gonna get you to play that.
I mean, I've played it before.
No, I'm gonna get you to play it.
Oh
though.
no,
I'm gonna get you to play it. You're gonna get into it, and you go, oh wow, I appreciate the depth.
Okay.
Don't be sassy.
I'm not being sassy.
Don't be sassy.
I'm just all right. Whatever, man.
Anyway, but while we're talking about the Nintendo Switch being, I will say, I think we could throw this out there, a game changer.
Oh,
no pun intended. Martin is not here.
Yeah, he's laughing somewhere in the distance. Yeah. But yes, I agree. I think that's a totally valid term for this.
Especially compared to what predated it.
Yeah.
People, you're thinking, you're like, well, what? The Wii was pretty good. Like everybody had a Wii. No, there was a gap year.
Oh yeah.
Everybody likes forget that fun little gap year where we went from the Nintendo Wii to the Nintendo Wii-U.
Yeah.
Which of course everyone had to get their hands on. I mean, I have one, and then you have one, right?
Absolutely not. I'm not. No, I don't have one.
Why?
Why would I have one?
Because it was Nintendo.
And
it was
PU. That shit stinks.
Yeah. Again, I am always accepting applications for a new host. This is an ongoing process. Just anybody can fill that. Anybody can, because that was a mess. A beautiful fucking mess that I love, but it was a mess. But yes, people, we had the Wii U come out, and I will say I was the one of like 7 people that brought a Wii U because I played Mario Kart one time and I was like, oh, this is great. And then I'm like, oh, they don't have a lot of stuff on it right now, but they'll end up supporting it and it'll be great. And no, it had a couple of good things that were exclusive to it. It had Bayonetta 2, which was a fantastic game. It had Mario Kart 8 at the time, which was an exclusive until the Switch came out. And then also you had the Smash Brothers game was exclusive, unless you got the 3DS version, but it was still a little different there.
A little bit, yeah. I will say the 3DS version of that game plays surprisingly well. Like, as someone who's played both, I remember when they announced Smash Brothers, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to buy a Wii U for this." And then said on 3DS, and I was like, "Never mind."
You ain't no real Nintendo fan, man.
No, I like Nintendo a lot. But again, I'm not gonna just buy something because it's Nintendo. I want it to be something that's a quality product. And even when the Wii U was first announced, it just seemed like an odd thing in a bad way. I was like, this is puzzling. I don't get what they're trying to achieve with this. And I thought even when they announced it, this is going to confuse people because it looks like a peripheral.
Right.
It does not look like a new system.
And even the way it's named, it feels like it was just like a Wii Plus.
Yeah, I bet if it were called the Wii 2, it would have sold way more, and nothing else different about it. If it was just called the Wii 2, I guarantee you would have sold.
And Bryce in the chat right now, I don't know how you were able to find a copy or the actual photo of how my Wii U controller looks, but that's exactly how it looks at my home, because I have not played. I have ire for my Wii U. I look at it, I was like, I fucking hate you. And that little fucking red dot and the white is just glowing on the front. And it's like I don't even want to get near you.
When I went over to your place and we watched Blade Runner, at one point I just looked down and I saw your Wii U and I started like giggling to myself.
Yeah.
I just like,
Yeah, I got fucking, players get got from time to time. It's part of the gaming hustle.
it happens.
Yeah, believe me, I had a Virtual Boy and a Wii U, so Nintendo, y'all got one more strike until I'm bombing y'all's head office. But
Those strikes are years apart.
I don't care. Nintendo got my money, and for the Virtual Boy, I got that second hand. It was only like $6, but I was still mad about it. Even though Mario Tennis was dope, everything else was terrible. But yeah, Bryce, congrats to you for finding my Wii U controller. That shit was terrible, people. If you have no idea, and Gertz, we forgot another exclusive, and this is a shout out to Felix. Our game Star Fox Zero was there.
Yeah.
Gertz's favorite game of the century.
Yeah, Star Fox Zero. What a perfect title.
Yeah, what a mess.
Zero.
But yeah, with the Wii U, man. First of all, people, if you didn't have one, consider yourself lucky. It's like missing getting polio. You got this system. You're like, all right, it's kind of cool. Like maybe they'll find a way to integrate this little, basically something the size of a Game Gear, a little larger with a larger screen, which is touch sensitive, which is not. It wasn't that great. And then the battery only lasted 40 minutes. And those controllers, they're bad, man.
Oh, wow.
They're bad. Excuse me, I might be exaggerating. Maybe it's like an hour and a half. But it still wasn't anything like to write home about, especially considering the stuff that we have with the Switch now.
Yeah, the Switch as a console, like running the game, it can last up to 4 hours depending on the game you're playing.
Right.
Like Mario, I remember playing Mario at the airport, and Mario, I'd say, probably gave me a little over 2 hours. But then games like Sonic Mania lasted almost twice as long.
Right.
So, yeah, an hour and a half is ridiculous.
Yeah, and if you're playing Skyrim, you'll get like a good 13 minutes before your shit crashes. But with the Wii U, if you again consider yourself lucky, the controller was terrible. The games lineup when it was basically until they started announcing like Mario Karts and Smash Brothers, it was a mess. Again, you had certain titles out there like Bayonetta 2 that would kind of tide you over, but everything else was just
It had a bad launch.
a terrible launch.
Yeah.
And of course, it was succeeded by the Switch, the Nintendo Switch that I think we both own and we're both enjoying.
Yes.
And you take yours everywhere like you're a wayward child.
Yeah, I always carry mine around.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Switch, big ups to them for coming out and doing good recently, and again, outselling the Wii U in some kind of way. In less than a year, the Switch came out, what was it, March 16th or 18th last year?
Was it only in March?
It was in March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's been less than a year, and big ups to the Nintendo Switch. It has outsold the Wii U in, again, less than a year. But the one thing about the Switch that still irks me a little bit, do you remember that commercial that they announced the Switch for? When everybody was like adults and they were doing like weird shit that like no one does.
Like taking Switch to parties on the roof and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Me and my crew of multi-ethnic people are going to play my Nintendo Switch instead of playing real basketball. Why not? Like, there's a court right there, but we have this small little console that can do all that just without having to break a sweat.
Yeah, man, I can't hit a shot. Fuck it, let's play video games.
Yeah, god damn it. Or, and like Gert said, you have this girl that ambushes a party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go fuck this shit up. Wow, did you see that brother in the back? And him acting like that extra from Wimpy Kid and Thor.
Is it the same guy?
No, it's not the same guy, but like look at him.
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh my God, it's a controller. This is witchcraft and wizardry. Oh my God.
Well, at least he's reacting to something. The guy in Wimpy Kid, I don't know what he was doing.
he was trying. He was being a mess. A hot mess. I can't. Where am I? The shit's kicking in. But yeah, one of the things again, the Switch has had a great launch and a great time, and again selling massive units. But I'm still upset. I've done none of this shit. The one thing that I've done in this trailer here was the one I think makes the most sense. It is playing it on an airplane.
Yeah,
and I think because you're just trying to kill time, you whip it out and you get to playing what you need to play or you want to play, and it's what it does. But everything else, I don't know who's in charge of y'all advertisement agency, but they sold y'all a bunch of fibs.
Well, I have not done any of these things, but looking at this ad now, it does do a good job of showing all the things it can do. I think it's successful in that regard. But yeah, the actual settings and the places that these people are taking their Switch, I'm with you. I've never done that outside of the plane thing.
Yeah.
Now I have played my Switch in front of people, and like taking out one of the Joy-Cons is like, here, you try it and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Like it's a cool way to show that this system is something that can be like used in a social setting because it's just interesting to look at. It gets people talking. They couldn't do that with the Wii U.
I like how you try to stun on somebody. It's like, oh, I kind of want to try it. You try it.
Yeah. you don't want to be a part of this.
You don't want no part of this. But yeah, big ups to the Nintendo Switch. And if you're wondering how many units it sold, again, in less than a year, I want to say it was March 18th. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. But the good old Wii U, and this is over on Nintendo.com, they put their numbers out there for people who are invested in Nintendo. And you can see right there, the Wii U sold 13.56 million units, and the Switch has sold 14.86 million units. So the Switch has already outsold them. Do you think they'll be able to surpass any other consoles?
Yes, because they're certainly on track to surpass the GameCube, because the GameCube sold roughly 20 million.
Yeah, 21.7 million.
I think they will surpass that. I think they're going to surpass the N64. I think the only things that they might not surpass, well, it's funny just because it's on track to. Part of me is like, I don't know if it's going to beat the Wii, but it is outpacing the Wii. It's selling more quickly than the Wii did back when the original Wii first came out. So it actually, come to think of it, I think it does have a strong chance at outselling just about everything, with the possible exception of maybe the Game Boy.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Yeah, and the Game Boy is at 118 million units, and then the Nintendo DS, which is their highest selling console, period, is 154 million units.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, they definitely ain't catching that.
Yeah, probably not.
With the Wii, I think, I don't know. I know one big thing that Nintendo, and they just announced this because how successful the Switch is, they're extending the lifetime of the console. So they're like, I think they were only going for like 4 or 5 years, but now they're extending it to like 6 to 7. So that's pretty dope. And again, we'll see if this will have the legs to stand on like what the Wii did, because one of the things about the Wii and it being such a high selling console was that people were still buying that when it was 4 or 5 years old, and people were just like, this is a fun thing to have. I can get one for my grandmother so she has something to do. She can bowl in the house. So like it's stuck around. Do you feel like the Switch has that staying power?
I think so, because I think the Wii, it burned hot and fast. Like when it first came out, it was huge and it lasted for about 2 years. But I think by the end of its lifetime, the gimmick had kind of worn off, because the selling point of the Wii was the motion controls. That was the thing that got a lot of people excited.
Right.
I think the Switch's gimmick it's more of a game changer than motion controls are. It's something that I think really is going to change the landscape of how video games are made and sold. The idea that you can take a console quality game anywhere, I think, is something that has a lot of legs. And one thing that Nintendo is doing, more so than they did with the Wii, they're taking a lot of indie titles and championing those. What's that one that just came out? It's like called Celeste or something like that. It's like a 2D platformer. Donkey just did a video on it recently. I
think it's Celeste, or it's like Celeste.
Okay. And it's getting great reviews, and it's something that if they just keep on supporting stuff like that, this isn't a technically demanding game, but everyone is saying just how good it is. And if the Switch is able to champion that, it's like, not only is there this great game, but you can play it anywhere. Right. I think they have a lot of legs. I think they could last a good long time.
Yeah, and then again, this is one of the most. Nintendo has always hit that one market outside of with the Wii U, because I don't know who was on PCP that night, but Nintendo has always done the right thing with targeting a certain demographic, and it's that family demographic. And they've done the same thing with the Switch, with showing the ability to share controllers. You get 2 controllers when you first buy the thing, as opposed to having to get an extra one. It's something you could take on the go. So if you do have kids, you can just throw it to the back in the back of the car while you're on a road trip. Yeah. So I think they're doing well, and I feel like they'll come close to the Nintendo Wii numbers, but I don't think they'll surpass it.
You don't think they're going to beat the Wii?
Nah. I feel like the economy's in the toilet now. No one's out there buying Switch. I mean, we're buying Switches, but like not at Wii rates.
I mean, they're sold more Switches at this point than the Wii did at this point in their life.
They did, but I also feel like this could be another, like you just said, burning fast and hot. Like they're selling like crazy. Because remember, it was when the Wii first came out, it was hard to get your hands on it, just like this was. The Switch was. And then after after you can get your hands on it, we starting to see them pile up on the shelves. Like, yeah, it's still selling well, but I feel like maybe with the Switch, I'm sorry, with the Wii, people were a little bit more like, okay, I can jump onto this. As opposed with the Switch, some people I'm not going to say hesitant, but they're still a little more cautious about it. Especially with I would understand buying a 5-year-old a Wii, but not a Switch, because they would destroy that screen.
You think?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. One other thing, I think the Switch does have more selling points than the Wii does. Like, I mean, even when the Wii was first released, it was technically, on a technical level, it wasn't all that powerful. The Switch, I mean, as a home console, you could say, yeah, it's not all that powerful, but it's the most powerful portable console you can get right now too. And I've never seen a console that has so many people excited for ports.
Right.
So you don't even really have to make new games for it. You just port it over to the Switch, and that's a very cost-efficient way to make people want this. And even it's gotten me to double dip on a few games.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
I know you got a problem. We know. But yeah, Nintendo, I think you're doing well, and it's good to see you guys bouncing back from the Wii U, even though I'm still a little hurt about that. We need to have like an episode of me just destroying my Wii U.
Yeah, especially now that you have Zelda on the Switch now.
Yeah, it's kind of pointless to own it. And then that Bayonetta is also being ported over to the Switch as well. So Wii U, your dusty ass is about to go to hell. Your soul is a cry in hell.